Well, that was so much fun.
Yeah,
that was a huge stress reliever for me.
Yeah, me too. Love it, love it. Hey everyone, Jennifer Jensen with Sutton Ridge Farm.
And Meghan Rittmaster with Foundational Journey. Woo! That got my brain going.
So we are here today to talk to you about ways to combat stress. In the last newsletter, we were talking about what brings on stress. And so today we're outside and we're going to be talking about ways to relieve stress.
So relieving stress, we're going to want to really get that relaxation response going, because in order to combat stress, we kind of have to do the opposite of it to really, calm the body down versus rev it up.
Right. Well, and as we've been talking this whole series that we're addressing, building our immunity for this year, stress affects our body. It affects us physically, mentally, and spiritually. So that means we need to address it on all those levels as well in order to address the whole person. So we're going to kind of get into some of that as we go throughout the rest of the interview today. So we're going to do kind of Q&A. So Meghan, how can you counter the chronic stress and the stress response?
Yeah. So, with the stress response, like was mentioned in the last newsletter, there is that fight or flight response.
Right.
So what we really want to do is we want to trigger the parasympathetic nervous system versus the sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight or flight response. So we really want to, interrupt the sympathetic nervous system, interrupt that fight or flight, bring in the parasympathetic nervous system, and really just calm the body down. You can feel, when your body and your muscles start to relax, you start to get more oxygen flowing, and you can kind of feel that in your body. So
for sure.
That's one of the biggest ways of counteracting this chronic stress, and making sure, that you're incorporating it every day, since stress is a huge part of our daily life. And unfortunately, it's much more than it needs to be.
Yeah. And as we'll get into, stress can be good too. So there's the bad stress. So that's what we're trying to look at and combat, and just instill things into our lifestyle that can kind of keep us more balanced all the time, so we're not always in fight mode, you know. So our next question is, what happens during the relaxation response? And one thing that I thought about too is we have so many different stressors in our life, but some are greater than others, and we really need to recognize what it is that is bringing us the most stress in our life, and try to release it in some way and replace it with something. So there is that intentional time of thinking through the things in your life. So we've got 4 kids, so a family of 6. So one thing that would be a stressor would be when the kids couldn't find their boots for school in the morning. Okay, and it's this, I drove the kids to school because of where we live, and so it was this rage to get out the door, and people not forgetting their lunch and their backpack and getting their boots and where's my mitten and blah blah blah. And so this was a huge stressor in my life, and it seemed that whenever one of the kids couldn't find something, it was always my fault. I don't know why. I guess I'm just the default. So anyway, so I'm like, I'm not going to do this anymore. This is way too much stress in the morning. So we started dealing with it the night before. So the kids come home, and everyone was responsible for putting their boots by their cubby. Hang up your backpack, when you got to do the homework, you go get it, and then you put it back. So everyone had to put their stuff back in their place. And that just helped things go way more smoothly in the mornings. So I recognized what was going on and needed to release it. Otherwise, it was going to drive me crazy. But then we replaced it with that responsibility, that they had a responsibility on their part too. And wasn't always perfect, but it did make things go way better.
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
What are some techniques to incorporate during the day to help elicit the relaxation response?
Yeah. So first, starting off your day, making sure you have some you time. Yes. Right when you wake up, don't immediately go to your phone, checking your emails or, whatnot, getting that screen right in your face right away. Instead, maybe take a few deep breaths, and just carve out some time for you. For me in the morning, I love to kind of do like visualize. Okay. visualization. That word is so hard. And just picture myself in a tranquil scene, or I'll do muscle relaxation just so that I can have my body feel very relaxed upon waking. Maybe say a prayer, or maybe I will write in. Actually, every morning I make sure to write into a gratitude journal for what I'm grateful for. I do 3 things. And then sometimes I just do free journaling too. So I make sure that I have time for me before I get to anyone else, and have, the trauma of the morning with young kids. Yeah, for sure.
I agree. I do something similar. So different stages of life, it's different. But I would try to get up earlier than the kids. And I still appreciate getting up early in the morning and having that time when the house is quiet. And so I will read my Bible and pray. And then in the winter months, I like to incorporate some form of exercise or stretching or cardio workout or something. And you can find stuff online so that you can do in your home. I've sometimes, getting geared up to go to a gym can be stressful in itself. So, I think to me too, is just shaking it up, and sometimes, I'm like, I don't feel like working out. I'm going to go for a walk. And so be flexible with yourself. I think being too rigid causes a stress too, but variety is the spice of life. And your body gets used to doing the same moves. So you want to shake it up, and you want to put different stressors on your body to make you stronger. And you sort of set your pace for the day. Someone said this, it's not original to me long ago, but they said you can either be a thermostat or a thermometer. So a thermostat, you set the temperature that you want things to be at, but a thermometer reacts to the temperature around you. And so be a thermostat.
I love that. And I love the fact that you brought up changing it up too, because that also doesn't, you get too rigid, you get set in your way, and then it also loses its value too, and like what the purpose was for it.
Right.
It's so easy to forget. Why was I doing this in the first place?
To make me relax, right?
Yeah. And we talk about that all the time. So I'm so happy that you brought that up.
Absolutely. So I know Megan's going to kind of read through a list here of different things that you can do. And so again, it's good to have a grab bag of go-tos.
Yeah.
So
this is not, an exhaustive list. And there might be things that are unique to you that, that don't work for someone else or have never been thought of. So it's what works for you. So, try a few things, get in tune with your body and figure out what works for you. But here, are just some examples. So abdominal breathing, doing like a 4, 7, and 8, where you breathe in for 4, you hold it for 7, and then you breathe out for a count of 8. And I will do some abdominal breathing in the end of this video, just to have you, try it out and see how your body feels after it. There are other breathwork practices too. Nose breathing, doing both in and out through the nose. There's alternate nostril breathing too that can help just awaken different parts of the brain.
Doesn't the nose breathing just help increase your lung capacity too, or the abdominal?
It definitely, all these breathing exercises do, but definitely.
Because I think if you're breathing from your mouth all the time, it can be too shallow. And then that doesn't help either,
And a lot of us are holding tension too, and we don't fully take a deep breath. You want your stomach to go out when you're taking a deep breath, because your lungs are filling up. So, that is a very good point of breathing through the nose versus the mouth.
Well, I have a little note by my desk because wintertime I'm just at the computer more and everything, but I'll find myself sometimes, maybe you too, but when I'm working on something and either thinking of word or designing something, I find myself not breathing. Like I'm holding my breath. So I have a little note nose breathe, right.
That is so true.
Anyway.
During workouts, I'll find myself doing that. So in tennis, fun little fact, when you hear people like grunting, if you ever see professional tennis players, it is so that they are breathing. They're not holding their breath throughout the point. Focusing on a soothing word can also be helpful, like the word peace or calm, or even like breathe or breath. It just kind of really makes you focus on that, and they are calming words in and of themselves. Visualization, there we go, of tranquil scenes, or having a picture near maybe your work desk of something that just brings peace and calm to you, or maybe it's a picture of your family that just makes you feel good and relaxes you, or a room in your house that is set up for tranquility or has a big picture in there.
Yep. I think it's important to set a space aside for just your reading space, or you pray or meditate or whatever brings you relaxation. And you set it aside. You've probably all heard too, it's recommended to not have a TV in your bedroom. Like your bedroom should be set aside for thinking about sleep and, relaxing and stuff like that. And maybe there's another room in your house that you can do that. And so when you go into that room, your body is already saying to you, oh, this is a relaxation room. It sounds kind of maybe quirky, but it really, we're creatures of habit, you know, and stuff. And our bodies respond to what direction we want to point them. And so you can be very intentional about making a space like that.
Definitely. And if you don't have that room, even just like a corner or a chair, have a little table or side table set up with something, I don't know, but whatever brings you peace. It's just make it your own and make it outside of where you're normally doing your everyday stuff. Don't have your peace station at your workstation.
Right. It doesn't work.
Repetitive prayer can be great for morning, noon, and night. So all throughout the day. Yoga, Tai Chi is great. Qigong is great. Taking a brisk walk after you're feeling stressed can really reduce, muscle tension, help you deep breathe, get more oxygen in the lungs. Exercising in a way that helps relieve tension for you. Running, biking, Pilates, kickboxing, yoga, again, another great form of exercise. Meditation. If you're new to a meditation practice, make sure that you start slow and work your way up. A lot of times people, will go straight into like 10 to 20 minutes of meditating, and their mind is just like going crazy, and they're getting more stressed out because they're not relaxing because they don't feel like they're meditating. So it's just start and work your way slow, and don't judge the process of meditation either, because that will stress you out. There are, guided meditations that you can do on YouTube, on apps. You can do body scan meditations where you envision each muscle group just relaxing. And that can be helpful. Being now and in the present moment versus our brains like to go to the future. They like to go to the past. They avoid the present, which is fascinating. But, when you're looking into the future, you're going to get more anxiety. A lot of times when we look into the past, we can start to get, guilt. So, we really want to get out of that anxiety and guilt and really focus on being in the now and the present. And really one way of doing that is to focus on your senses. Hi, little sweetie. And even just like counting and feeling your fingers push together can help bring you back to the present moment too.
So one thing that can be helpful in relieving stress is animals.
Yes!
So, this is Blueberry. We thought it was a female, but it's a tomcat. So anyway, but we still call him Blue. So anyway, but yeah, so as many of you know, animals are a great stress reliever. They just, even the spending time with them and petting them, and we're going to look at some of the other animals little bit later too that are fun to hang out with and stuff too. But Blueberry, I don't know what you're gonna do here. I guess you're gonna do your own thing. We'll kind of put you right back here. All right. So what kind of foods are helpful for setting our body up for not being stressed? I mean, food's a big help. It does make a difference. So what foods and nutrients can help combat stress?
Yeah, so there are actually quite a few. Foods that are high in antioxidants. Think like blueberries, various berries, various nuts and seeds. They're going to be, all those different colors that you get into your diet from plants are going to have various antioxidants in them and be very helpful for the body. In spirit of like Valentine's Day,
Right.
since it is that time.
That's why we're all decorated up for Valentine's Day.
Yes, dark chocolate. But dark chocolate, we really want to look for. It's recommended like 70% cocoa and higher, but I like to tell people 75% dark cocoa and higher. So that will a little bit also goes a long way. So moderation. We don't want to overdo it, but that has flavonoids in it and antioxidants that actually have been helped to reduce cortisol in the body and reduce our stress response. So it can be very beneficial. And on this day, give someone some dark chocolate.
Yes.
It'll show your love
Yes.
and your love for stress relieving for them.
Here's a big stress relief chocolate pill.
Yeah, exactly. Green tea is another biggie. Chamomile tea. Parsley is packed with antioxidants. Sunflower seeds are great. Chickpea, sweet potatoes, organ meats as well. So they're full of B12 and various B vitamins, which play a role in our stress response, and they can get burned up really quickly. So making sure that you're getting enough B vitamins, and organ meats are great with that. Eggs are great. Shellfish. Magnesium is a biggie. Dark chocolate has magnesium in it. You can get it from nuts and seeds, various whole grains, like quinoa, and various greens too. So spinach, kale, Swiss chard, those are going to be awesome. And the fiber-rich foods, those are usually going to be high in magnesium too. So
Good.
Yeah.
I had thought of sauerkraut and kefir too.
oh yes,
for
gut bacteria.
Yeah.
You want to keep your gut bacteria very healthy and happy. So getting in probiotics, which you can do through fermented foods and fermented yogurt. And I'm so like relaxed and stress free with blueberry that my brain is like taking a slow-mo. But yeah, making sure that you're getting in probiotics. Then prebiotics, these are from higher fiber foods. Think like artichokes. Those are going to feed your good gut bacteria. So they work hand in hand. So and vitamin C is another biggie in the stress response. So acerola cherries, citrus fruits, those are going to be great too.
And this is all going to be in Megan's blog. So don't feel like you need to take notes. There's much more material there.
So one big thing is when people are stressed, digestive issues tend to occur. So before you eat, taking just a minute to focus on your breath, feel your body, just calm down before you start consuming your food. Consume it at a slower pace, and it will just help your digestive process and also help you relax so that you can absorb your nutrients better.
So I'm going to share with an example. One thing that stressed me out a lot when the kids were young was that question that came every day: "What's for dinner?" And running the farm, raising 4 kids, feeding 6, to and from school. All of a sudden 4:30 was there, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? And I had my black bag of fast food items, like ham steaks or hot dogs, but it's like I can't go to that all the time, So this isn't anything unique to me, but sometimes I just need to hear things again. And so just really meal planning. You can take time on Sunday night, look at what you got going for the week. Where are you going to be short on time? Where can you make a bigger meal and then be able to use those leftovers and stretch it into something else later on in the week? That was really a big, big stress relief for me, to just know what I was going to have for dinner. For me, if I just knew what my meat was going to be, everything else fell into place. I'm just like, okay, so we're having pork. Okay, great. get a veg, rice, or a starchy or something, potatoes. And so for me, that brought such a peace of mind, because when 4:30 rolled around and I'm like, hey, dinner's in the bag, or I already started it or something, but that was a big stress relief for me. So I would say meal planning, take the time to do it. And if your kids are like, oh, I don't want this nutritious food again or something, then get them involved and say, hey, I want you to be a part of this meal planning, and you help. Then they can't complain, because they had input on it. Because the fact of the matter too is that to eat healthy does take more time. Mm-hmm. You're going to have more dishes, but use the crock pots, use the Dutch ovens, use those to your advantage. I don't recommend microwaving food. So anyway, just take the time to plan, and that will help relieve some stress in your life.
That is great tips.
Great tips. So, all right, well, we're going to go around to see some of the animals, I think.
Perfect.
So, good. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye. Get comfortable in a seated position or lying down. You can close your eyes or keep them open and watch the image in front of you. Take a second to connect to your breath. All we are going to do is breathe in deeply for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, and breathe out for a count of 8. We will do this 3 times. Let's get started. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And last time, breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice the relaxation in your body. Is it different from when you started? If not, you can keep going. If you enjoyed it, you can also keep going on your own. Hopefully, you do notice a difference and your muscles are more relaxed and you feel like you can think clearer. Thank you so much for joining in this exercise, and remember that this is a great one to use wherever you are, anytime during the day. You can always come back to the breath. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care.